fans, welcome to the Peek Inside Gator Football Preview Show. Allie Peek, I am excited because I am joined by Dave Waters of Gators Breakdown. It's been a little while since we've talked to you, so I feel like this must really be signaling the start of the season here.
It is. I think I just got off my show, come on your show, and it's just like if you're a Gator fan right now, it is you have a plethora of avenues to get your content. So I'm glad I could join you, Allie, and looking forward to another season right here, and one I think we've kind of just been circling for a little bit, and looking forward to what's going to happen.
I'm telling you, I'm so glad for talking season to be over and for us to actually have games to analyze and break down. Like that, we have made it. We have survived. There were points in time in like June I wasn't sure I was going to make it all the way here.
No, for sure. And so you get the dog days of summer. Sometimes some days you get busy with family, so sometimes it goes fast, but then it just drags along. So it's certainly glad to get here.
It does. I'm excited it's here. So Florida finally getting a cupcake week 1. Are you excited about that, or do you miss the big time matchup we've seen the last couple of years?
Yeah, I missed the hype of getting ready for one of those big teams, but I'll admit I'm ready for a little bit of a break. And everybody who knows me a bit, I've complained about cupcake games for years, but with the Lagway storyline of the injury and. First, just also we've had enough of those games, so yeah, we can take a cupcake and get ready and just ease into the season a little bit. But I think mainly because of the Lagway thing, and let's get him ready to go in sync in game 1 and game 2 before you go on the road to play LSU in game 3. But look, it's the first game of the season too, so you're just excited with the excitement of this team paired with just the excitement of the season getting here. Florida could play a high school team, and I guess I'd be excited. I mean, that's probably what they're playing anyway in Long Island, but it's I'm excited for it.
I think I loved the concept of opening with a really tough opponent the last couple of years, but I also feel like we've kind of fallen on our face a little bit the first couple of years. So maybe a tune-up game really is the way to go, and I'm kind of excited we get to ease into this instead of like jump right into the deep end. And, I don't want to spend a ton of time on LIU for obvious reasons, but let's talk a little bit about that team before we go on to kind of some big picture stuff. Is there anything about them at all that UF fans should be aware of?
14 starters return, 6 on offense, 8 on defense. So a lot of returning players for a team that was 4-8 last year. So it's for them, it's probably good. Yeah, for them, it's good when they get into conference play. It's not going to matter Saturday night. So it is the first time a Northeast Conference team has played a Southeastern Conference team. Okay. But yeah, it's not going to be. Ethan Green was their quarterback. He, for them in their level of competition, can make some things happen with his legs and kind of have some success in unscripted plays, but he's their leader on offense. They'll play 2 quarterbacks and they'll do some zone read stuff. But he won't be the only guy, but he's the guy that's going to make things happen for him. But then on the defensive side of the ball too, DQ Watkins is their best player on defense. He was an all-conference selection for him heading into this. So there's a couple players you should look out for, but all in all, it's not going to matter, nor should it. So hey, they got a cool drink named after him.
TJ, my producer, was telling me you really like their uniform. So
yeah, I mean I guess Carolina blue, if you want, lack of a better way of calling it. Yeah, I think
sharks are kind of cool, right? Jim McElwain would have liked sharks.
He would. Yeah, he's. I wonder if he's watching Saturday, but
he was before his time. Okay, let's turn our attention to Florida. Let's talk about some guys who won't be out there or are, kind of suffering from injuries. McCray, Dallas Wilson, and Trayon Webb will all be out for Saturday. And, even though he's in, we are also still monitoring DJ Lagway's health as fans. Obviously what goes on in the building, they know where he's at, but we're cautiously optimistic. Is that how you put it?
Yeah, I think so. For Lagway, it's okay. a quarter and a half, maybe treat it like an NFL preseason game. That third preseason game that used to be ever so popular where the starters would get, maybe a half, but no, he doesn't need to play a half. 4 or 5 drives at most, I think you might see from him. And then he should have all the protection in the world. So go through your reads, go through your progressions, launch one down the field. Maybe an unscripted run or two, but there should never, ever be a design run call for DJ Lagway Saturday night. There's no sense in even trying to risk it. You know what he can do there. He doesn't need it in this game. He'll need it down the road. So we don't need to see it Saturday night there. But just go there, look crisp, calm. First time we've seen you in any kind of serious scenario since the Tulane game last year in the bowl games. So we won't see a whole lot, but we'll see enough of DJ Lagway. But Dallas Wilson, of course, as a true freshman, would have loved to see him out there. This would have been a game he'd got plenty of reps in. His first live game action. Looks like we'll probably maybe have to wait another week or two to get him out there. LJ McCray, maybe LSU game he's back as well. But certainly a player in his second year, you're kind of waiting to break out to live up to that 5-star status, and we'll have to wait a little bit longer to see if he can reach that. And then Trayon Webb, tough break for him after missing so much of last season. Certainly was going to be in a battle for that third running back spot with KD Daniels, and now he's kind of on the mend as well. So maybe puts him behind. As a guy that is a legacy Gator, has already graduated in 3 years, so he's done everything you want him to do off the field. And we'd love to see it pay dividends on the field for him, but certainly have to wait to see if he can make his way. But Allie, that's another storyline here. There's no major injuries for Florida right now. Nobody missing for the season. Yeah, knock on my wood for sure. That didn't sound right. Well, I'll give a little Josh Pate immunity right there.
There you go.
Yeah. That's one for the keep. That's one for the show. But there's nothing there that too serious for Florida injury wise. So I just think we're fine there.
After dark. Okay. Sold out crowd on Saturday night for a fan base that wanted our head coaches gone, right? 11 months ago. How impressive is it for UF fans? And I will preface that by, the turnaround last year left me wanting more, right?
Yeah.
Like, be excited to see if we could build on that. But it is true that after September of last year, we were all lining up to make some fires. So how impressive is it that it's sold out? And LIU, it's a high school team, essentially.
Yeah, for sure. I think that kind of confirms the excitement Gator Nation has about this team. And when you have one of the biggest faces in college football leading your program, it certainly goes a long way. And people wanting to see DJ Lagway. Like, this was sold out before we even got word from Napier that Lagway was going to start Saturday. So hopefully weather holds off. I know it does look not great for the rain right now, 3 days out from the game. So hopefully we catch a break there. But it's a night game too, so that plays into it. The fan base always gets excited for the primetime games. It's only streaming, so maybe that plays a part into it. But they'd probably sell this out either way. I just think it really does speak to the first team we've been able to grasp onto for a while with some preseason expectations. Now, hopefully it's up to the team to go live up to those expectations, but it's been a while since, I guess there's true hope. Maybe in past years it's been a little bit of false hope and more hope than anything, but there's something tangible that you can kind of just grab onto about this team. And I think the sellout does signify that the fan base is excited for this season.
What sort of things do you want to see in obviously a matchup where the outcome isn't in question at all? Like, what do you want to see on offense and what do you want to see on defense?
On offense, you should be able to do whatever you want. As I mentioned, kind of go back to Lagway. You should be able to give him enough protection. So if you want to see some deep throws with him, by all means, you should be able to see it. But I do want to see him go through the short, intermediate, and go through his progressions and hit those passes that maybe he struggled with back a little bit last year. But I want to see an offensive line just maul, which they should be able to do. I don't see any issue there. And then past that, just a lot of young guys getting reps. Billy Napier has talked about, hey, there's still some battles going on here. Some of those second-tier offensive linemen that Florida might need at some point this year, go out there and get their reps. Those guys play well. The freshmen, I still think there's a lot to figure out at receiver. I mean, I think you know who the starters are with Sturdivant and Trey Wilson and Aiden Mizell, maybe till Dallas Wilson gets back. So I think probably your top four, but throw in Verdell Brown the third in there too. But I think those second year guys get overlooked a whole lot with Tank Hawkins and TJ Abrams. So what did they show Saturday night to maybe earn some more reps down the road as well? I just think it might be a big night for those guys to get some more reps down the road at that receiver spot. And then on defense, man, just maul them up front. I don't know if we'll see much from the DBs just because I think Florida's defensive line can just completely just maul and control this game. Not much running yards. If the quarterback wants to run around like he can tend to do against their level of competition, don't let him do that in this game. I don't know. Yeah, I think turnovers might be limited just because of how I think safe LIU might play this game. They might try and slow the game down as much as they possibly can. So I think if you're looking for turnovers, it might be more in the fumble variety than the interception variety, just because I think they'll play it safe. And then with that, I think a lot of young guys on defense. I don't think I play my starters a whole lot in this game. So it's just kind of going to those battles Billy Napier's talking about there too, the fifth and sixth safety and the fifth linebacker. I think who comes in at certain times may signify where they lean in some of those battles.
Tell me, and again, I don't think the outcome is ever going to be in jeopardy, but what are some things that if they happen would be red flags for you for future games?
I go back to the pass blocking. I know the stats say Florida was pretty good in that last year, and look, they were good in some regards, but there was a lot of that with DJ Lagway.
Yeah,
he was shoving defenders off, making defenders miss. It started off bad last year with the pass blocking against Miami and Texas A&M. So don't get me wrong, the competition doesn't really lend itself to the same comparison here, but I want to see a clean pocket, for when Lagway's out there and this starting offensive line. It's not going to tell me if they have taken the next step or not, if they go out there and succeed. But if Lagway's still having, and with his injury concern, if he's still having to move around and try to make defenders miss because an offensive lineman misses a block, that'd be the number one thing I'm looking for, because this offensive line did make strides. They made a lot of strides in run blocking last year as the season progressed. But as I said, I think Lagway needed to get a lot of credit for helping that offensive line with the sack numbers. So that's where I'll be looking first and foremost.
Okay, so over under on special teams blunders, it's set for 0.5.
0.5.
What are you taking?
We're all feeling good here. Let's go under. But
listen, from to God's ears.
Yeah.
All right. I want to have you, before we let you get out of here, I want you to pick some of the biggest games that are happening this weekend around the country. Okay.
Okay.
A winner for me. So I think the biggest game of the entire weekend is Ohio State and Texas, a rematch of the playoffs. I think, two teams that will probably be in the playoffs, when they're set in December. Who wins this one?
I'm going Texas. I think there is too much new for Ohio State at quarterback, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. There's a lot of changes there. Now, they are a team with talent-wise that can overcome a lot of those things. I just think there's a little more stability, even in the horseshoe with Texas. I still got my questions about Arch. But at the same time, Ohio State might have the two best players on the field with Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs. But I think Texas might still be better overall team-wise this early in the season with all the newness at Ohio State. So Arch has got to prove himself. He does have a look offensive line in front of him. They got some changes at wide receiver too. But I think it'd be the Texas defense and how they can pressure the quarterback. That'd be the difference for me. And Alia, it was funny you talked about how big this game is and college football playoff contenders and all that. I did see it's the fifth game between these two, and in 3 of the matchups, the winner went on to play for the national championship.
Wow. Yeah.
So there's a lot of weight on this game still.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so another really big game, not maybe quite as big as Ohio State, Texas, but major playoff implications as well would be Clemson and LSU. And this is the battle of the Death Valleys. So I think as SEC people, we are saying this game is taking place at the fake Death Valley. But who do you got in that one?
Battle of the Death Valleys, Battle of the Tigers. It's just purple. They share the color purple as well. I mean, there's just too many similarities here. Both teams have struggled in openers recently, especially.
I think he's lost 5 straight, right?
5 in a row. I think Clemson's lost 3 of 4.
Okay.
So, and the last 2 have been to Georgia last year and Duke the year before that. So they've struggled, and I think. The last time they played in the opener was LSU's run to their 2019 title. Okay. So, it's just I still got questions. LSU's offensive line against that Clemson defensive line in Clemson. I just think it's going to be too much. I like Clemson's defensive talent matched up early season against LSU's offense. And LSU's defense, I know they got a lot of new faces. They should be better as that season goes on. Yeah. But they hit the transfer portal hard. And I don't know if it gels as fast as they want it to gel. And then, like I said, you go back to their offensive line. Words out of camp is they are having trouble run blocking. So you got to put the game on Garrett Nussmeier's shoulder. On the road, I think that's going to be too much. I'm going Clemson here to get that big early season win. And hey, look, let's go set up some desperation in a couple of weeks when Florida goes to Death Valley if LSU loses this one.
Florida goes to the real Death Valley. Okay, what about Notre Dame, Miami? A true Catholics versus convicts game. The runner-up to the national title plays Miami. This is a fun matchup for like longtime college football fans. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Rivalry.
I think I'll lean Miami. Now Mario Cristobal scares the crap out of me against Marcus Freeman. So, if it was just head coaches, I'd probably lean Notre Dame. But I just think even with a transfer quarterback and Carson Beck, I think we know a little bit more about Miami in that scenario. Yes, he was at Georgia, but I have no idea what to expect from C.J. Carr and Notre Dame, so that's probably why I lean Miami. And it's the unknown, I guess, that scares me a little bit about Notre Dame in this. I think Miami can lean on the run game with Mark Fletcher and Jordan Lau and not ask Carson Beck to do a whole lot. So I lean Miami squeaking this one out. But it's true 50-50 for me. But if I have to pick somebody, I'm going with Miami.
I am just, every time I run down the lineup of these big games, I am just in awe. And we are going to have such good football for 6 days in a row. This is so fun. Let's talk about Baylor and Auburn. This is a fun matchup, I think. I think Auburn kind of feels a little bit of desperation. Like they've got to get things headed in the right direction. I think that Baylor feels that they've got it going in the right direction, but an SEC opponent to open up is definitely a good test to see if that's the case. Who do you like here?
Baylor's a lot like Florida, where they ended really pretty good last season. So they got to feel pretty good about their momentum and transferring to another year. Man, I have no idea what to expect from Jackson Arnold. Can Hugh Freeze get his confidence up after just falling on his face last year at Oklahoma? I like what they have at receiver there at Auburn with Coleman, the receiver, and their offensive line too. I'm torn on this one. I guess I would purely admit I'll go SEC bias here and just go Auburn with that. I literally have no idea. If you told me I had to go to Vegas with this one, I guess I'd go Auburn, but I would not bet it. I really would not if you give me a choice. But man, there's a lot. You said it. There's a lot of pressure on Hugh Freeze. Does he come up with something here? If it doesn't start off good for them, and if it's Jackson Arnold's the reason why,
yeah,
I worry for them doing much this season just because I think his confidence got shot last year. And if it starts off bad again, I think it snowballs, and this might be Hugh Freeze's last year on the Plains.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's a do or die season for him too. And I freaking love that there's so many games where we don't know what's going to happen, and we just like big names we don't see play each other all the time. This is going to be such a good weekend. Okay, so last game I'm going to have you pick. Instead of picking a winner of
Okay.
Bama FSU, I want to know who covers. The spread is Bama by 13.5 right now.
We got Bama by 17. I think they get up quick, and then the game settles down. And I think FSU does kind of score, and they'll end up scoring with them. I think the rest of the way. I think Bama probably just jumps up a little quick on them, and that's how that one works out. Bama at receiver, but the question, Ty Simpson, and this is another question. It's just but. With Ryan Grubb coming over at OC to help Kalen DeBoer now back, I think Ty Simpson is just a pretty good pairing for what they want to do on offense now. Bama offensive line, the wide receiver group. I think just jump out early with Simpson. I think they're going to try and get him in a groove early, especially with the injuries at running back. Gus Malzahn, I have no idea what to expect from him. I think he can get his fastball back.
Yeah.
But it seemed like he's lost it a little bit from the end of the Auburn tenure to UCF. And granted, they were able to run the ball well at UCF, but when the competition ramped up and it was just really, really one-sided offense there at his time at UCF. And look, that kind of follows his MO. Yeah. It's just I don't know if that style of play I think a lot of people have figured it out.
Yeah.
But now maybe a pairing with Matt Norvell. Maybe they come up with something together. Just a lot of questions. I think FSU will be better. There's no way they can be as bad as they were last season. I think it snowballed for them last year, and there was a lot of confidence lost. And a game against Bama shouldn't really destroy your confidence this early in the season. So I think for them, it's a game about confidence. And look, FSU's a proud program. we know that. One of our main rivals. You don't take solace in some kind of close victory or close loss or anything like that. But given what they went through last year, it is if they can hang with Bama in some way, I think it'd probably go a long way in getting some confidence back when they go into ACC play.
I am trying to look at the comments on these. We've got Alabama by 60, 63-3. Florida State's going to get completely annihilated. Like all of these comments are, everyone is very confident in Alabama in this matchup.
Yeah, I do think they cover. Like I said, about 17. I don't know if I said that, but yeah, I think they get up by a couple scores and just win by like 17.
Okay, so now tell me what you think the score is going to be of our game against Long Island.
I'll be a little nice, I guess. 55. I'll give them 7.
Okay.
I get there might be some fluke play or something like that, but
yeah. Who knows? Okay, and then
it won't come into the fourth quarter. You won't really care.
Some garbage points.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Who has a breakout game that maybe we're not expecting or is a newcomer?
Because he's going to get a lot of carries. I think KD Daniels. I think him, Ball, Jackson, I think they'll do their thing while they're in, but you're going to get them out of the game, and then some of these backups are going to get a lot of carries. So KD Daniels, his speed, I think he just breaks a couple long ones, maybe one's a home run touchdown, but certainly if I had to pick somebody, I think I'll go that route.
The state of the state of Mississippi's Mr. Football from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see KD. I think that he's a lot of talent.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, thank you so much for coming on. Please let everybody know where they can find your content and follow you on social media.
Yep, at GatorDave_SEC on social media, and then you can follow the podcast, YouTube, your favorite podcast platform, GatorsBreakdown.com. Some nice articles up there today about Billy Napier's interesting comments about Aiden Mizell and how he needs to break through, what he needs to do to break through, and then a big preview on the defense as well. So lots of content rolling out right there on the website.
All right, Dave, we appreciate you. We're going to have to do this again real soon. Enjoy this weekend's slate of games. I know I'm going to.
For sure. Thanks, Allie.
All right. If you're traveling into town for the game this week, make sure you do what I do literally every single time I'm in Gainesville, and that's stop by Alumni Hall. They have the best and the largest selection of game day apparel. And of course, as always, they're your one-stop shop for all things UF. The best selection, the best prices, even better people. Check out Alumni Hall on Archer Road or online at alumnihall.com for all of your Gator gear. Okay, so before I end this live, I want to tell you guys what I want to see on Saturday. I think the biggest question mark for me, and it's the thing that we've talked about this offseason probably the most, is what is Lagway's chemistry going to look like with his wide receivers? He has missed a lot of time with them because of unserious injuries, right? Not anything that's going to hold him out during the season or anything like that, but time away from improving timing, chemistry, all of that with a relatively young wide receiver room. I want to see what they look like out there together and what kind of growth they can have during the amount of time that they're on the field on Saturday, which I don't expect to be very long. I think Dave's right that it's going to be 4 or 5 series. If it's more than that, it's because we haven't scored as many points as we wanted to. So that would maybe be a red flag. But I think he's going to play for a limited amount. I think that's the smart and safe move by Napier. Give your backup some opportunities. Let your young guys get out there, running backs, wide receivers, whatever. But what does the chemistry look like ones and ones? The next thing I want to look at is, what do the special teams look like? Do we have the correct number of people on the field? Do we have the passion and energy for the third portion of the game? Does it look clean? Does it look organized? Does it look like we put the time in practice for special teams? Next thing I'm going to look at is, what do the DBs look like? There's a lot of youth in that room. And, if Dave's prediction's right, we might not be able to glean a whole lot from it because our defensive line might just feast. And so our DBs never have to actually do any work. But I'm interested to see if they do get tested, how they do, what they look like out there, because again, they are very young and somewhat thin in that room. And then I think the last thing I'm going to look for is, what does the team effort look like? We are not going to know how good the Gators are against LIU. But are there any red flags? Was there any loafing? Was the intensity the level we need it to be at for when we head into SEC play? I think all of that is important, and it's a precursor for what's to come. The saying, you play how you practice, is true. So you need to practice how you play. Are we going to go out there for this, for all intents and purposes, practice game and give it our all, play with the intensity that we're going to need to have down the road? I want to give a shout out to a new channel, a peek inside the SEC. It was something we launched last football season. We're continuing it this season. I'm going to link the YouTube channel in the description. There's a lot of good content over there. And especially in a week like this, where there's just so many good games that involve SEC teams going on, you want to go over there and check it out. Okay, time for a score prediction. I am actually going to say 63-3. I don't think we shut them out. I think they, get a field goal here. It's probably at the end, but I think it's a really dominant performance. I think fans leave happy, excited about what they see and gearing up for USF. All right, guys, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button. You can support the show that way or a super chat is another great way to support the show. Also, if you are watching and you are not subscribed, why? We're only 200 subscribers from 15,000. I need you guys to go ahead, hit that button right now. It takes 2 seconds. It's free. Really helps the channel grow. I appreciate all of you guys. Make sure you check out the Danny Warfel interview that I have running right now. Just such an interesting and impressive person with a lot of great insight of what's going on inside the program. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, go Gators.